going up north of the border here to interview a guy, well, I haven't seen in quite some time. If you remember all the DTD days and all the early online stuff, Clinton Geoffrey was a big part of that. He is currently managing partner with GeForce TV. He also does a show with Adam Ross. They are called Race Rivals. He also does some stuff for NASCAR in Canada on the Sports Network. Let me see, what else is he doing? He's also a pit reporter for that. He also does some stuff with the Action Sprint Tour. Clinton Geoffrey has a lot of things going on right now, so let's head up to north of St. Catharines, Ontario. First of all, how we doing, man?
Good. The first thing I ought to mention, though, my main job is working at Ohsweken Speedway, manage that for Glenn. So we can't leave that out because that's what really pays the bills here weekly. And it's been a great pleasure working for Glenn. But it's great to be here. Thanks, Doug.
Yeah, nice to talk to you again. It's been a long time. So where do we start? What are we doing now?
Well, pretty much right at this point in time, people always ask, do we even work in the wintertime, us racers? But yeah, most of the work happens right now, planning for the 2023 racing season. And, I think it's the first time in a couple of years we've actually been able to get excited. The last couple of years we didn't know how we were going to get through the pandemic and what the race season was going to look like. At Ohsweken, we actually shut down for 2 years. So getting back going 2022, it was great. So a lot of work to get ready for the next season. Is pretty much where we're at now.
Yeah, I just talked to Glenn the other day. Said schedule should be coming out very soon, right?
Yeah, our schedule is pretty much done. The basic framework is always there. We know our start date. We know our end date at the Canadian Sprint Car Nationals. We have a couple big events in the middle. Of course, we made an association with NASCAR Canada last year and had the first race on dirt in Canada in a long time outside of, the States with NASCAR, and that was huge for us to be, Canadian home for NASCAR on dirt is great. So once that schedule comes out, then we pretty much know where all our major dates are, and we'll fill in the rest of the leaves on the branches after that. But we're close. I'd say our schedule is probably 95% done, and we'll be ready to release it in, a week or two. The big thing that takes a while is selling all the nights, getting all the business sent together to make sure you got all your marketing partners in the right spots. I can tell you where the schedule is going to be right now, but tell you who's going to sponsor every night, we need a few more weeks to get that done.
All right, and that's one of his main jobs right there. How can we listen to you and Adam? I caught you guys a few years ago, Race Rivals. How can people watch that?
Yeah, so when the pandemic started, right before that, Ohsweken was one of the first ones to commit to live free streaming. We got some great television people involved who were race fans, and we were able to build a good crew. And we were delivering live streaming at Ohsweken, and that led us to doing MAV TV Live from the Speedway across Canada in 2019. And then the pandemic hit, and here in Canada, everything were really locked down. We were allowed to race, but we couldn't bring any fans out. So the other speedways asked us if we could broadcast some of the races on a stream platform, and that kind of kicked us off and really got GeForce TV up and running. So GeForce TV is now Canadian leader in free live stream racing. So if you're into auto racing, go to geforcetv.net. It's a YouTube-based platform that we have, but we really have some great production values. All our live events are 6 to 8 cameras with full replays, and it's just been great. We picked up an awesome drone pilot this year, and Abby Solomon has been taking us some really amazing views. So from there, we started our talk show. So Adam and I, we have our Tuesday night talk show at 8 p.m. where we talk all things racing, whether it be pavement, dirt. A lot of it is kind of in our region. Mm-hmm. And we get the big stars on from there, and we just have fun bullshit for an hour. And then, the other end of it, the racing's taken off. So we had a lot of sprint car action. The APC late models here in Ontario are fantastic. We had a lot of their action on GeForce TV. So if you're looking for your fix for free, you can go there, check that out, geforcetv.net, and check out any of the live streams from this year.
Are you doing any iRacing still on GeForce TV?
We were doing a lot of that. We kind of got out of that business because everybody else got into it, and we're doing such a good job. I mean, I know you do some work with Roger Craig, and those guys are having the past. And, we kind of, when the pandemic hit, we were all doing a lot of iRacing. We were even doing Ohsweken Friday night broadcasts with our full broadcast crew, and a lot of our racers were coming out. We were kind of hosting virtual races when we couldn't get going there in 2020 during the pandemic. And, but short answer is no, I haven't had my rig out in a while. I think next snowstorm up here, I'm going to have to break it out. Though.
There you go. By the way, Clinton did not get a lot of the weather like some people got in Canada, so he's very fortunate in that aspect. For the NASCAR stuff on the sports...
Last week...
Go ahead.
I was going to say, yeah, last week was crazy around here. I know you talked to some of the other races like Plazic and Williamson and those guys, and they're about a half hour south on the range than I am. And I had a few inches, and they were getting, colossal blizzard-like storms. So, yeah, we feel good. But you were going to say about NASCAR Canada, it's been great for us, too. Adam and I both. Adam's been doing about 15 years. I've been at it about 7 or 8 now. And it's been great.
And, of course, you have the best job in the world. I do pit reporting for Land of Legends TV. You do it for that. Pit reporting really is, I think, the coolest job to have. Do you agree?
Oh, yeah. I mean, I would not want to be stuck in the booth all night. I think the food's better in the booth.
True.
And they get catered to. But I would much rather be on the fly, down in the action, and getting up there and get to see everything. And I think as a pit reporter, that's one of the biggest things I pride myself on. And I think even from our live stream, you go to places where you've been to, and you guys experienced this at Land of Legends. I mean, we've talked to Paul Cole and, the association we have with the Ovens boys before Brad passed away there, and Steven, God bless him, carrying it on. They kind of looked at our model, and they'll tell you that. They looked at Ohsweken. We did talk to Paul and the Ovens brothers about the free stream and, how it hasn't hurt. And I know you guys see it. So that's something we really like to push is that, I know we were one of the first ones to jump off that cliff, and, a lot of the old dinosaurs in the sport feel you're giving it away. But, I mean, yeah, so what? 50 people may stay home on a night when it's questionable, but we're reaching 20,000 new people every time we turn on the channel. So, those numbers are eventually going to trade off. Yeah, you may lose today, but in a year or two, it's going to pay off. And, I mean, the biggest thing for us, Doug, is one Friday night Ohsweken. So we live streamed every Friday night Ohsweken, free streamed on GeForce. And then we were doing either sprint cars or late models every Saturday when we weren't out covering NASCAR with our crew. So we produced a lot of the NASCAR races here in Canada for their live stream as a white label deal. You didn't see GeForce on it, but it was all our crew behind the production end of it. And Adam and I calling it, and we were sending that out to Flow and TSN Go here in Canada, which is the sports network, basically the Canadian equivalent to ESPN. But, we had a couple show up at Ohsweken mid-season, and they had a sign and said, "We're from Fairport, New York. We watch every week," and we had to come and check it out. And for us, that was kind of the icing on the cake that really, shows you it is going to work. And these people watch from 4 hours away every week, and they just had to come up and experience it. And I think that's where we're headed with this. There's definitely a market for pay-per-view, but I think if you want to help grow the sport, free streams where it's at.
No, I agree. Boxing did that years ago, and that's like you're almost doubling down on your audience, trying to get as much as you can, but without something free that people can stumble on, I don't think you're going to grow it. The Action Sprint Tour is another thing, by the way, that Clinton is into, and I remember when Can-Am started doing their crate sprints, you told me this is a group that's kind of making sure the rules are the same so that different tracks aren't doing different things. Is it almost that simple, Clinton?
Well, at Ohsweken, we had the gap between street stocks and 360s. We had moved away from our
needed something,
class. So it was a Grand Canyon between divisions. So we came up with this package about 8 years ago now. It's basically a 602 crate motor adapted for sprint car racing in a sprint car chassis. The exact same wings, tires, everything as the ESS, the Patriots, our sprint cars at Ohsweken. So the cars are very interchangeable. We were very careful with that. But the engine package is about $10,000 now. So you can get into a professional class. We were able to get ahead of it with Brockville and the Kirklands and then the Bartletts at Can-Am. They're all in the same field.
Nice.
So now we have about 5-6 tracks running these, deals across the tour now. We're going to have an East and West Action Sprint Tour this year and then a National Points Champion. So this has grown into about 80 to 85 cars now across the, Ontario and trickling into New York State. You're going to see more of it in New York State as, it continues to grow. I think it's a great way to step into sprint cars. So your whole car, like in the U.S., you're buying a complete car for under $15,000. That's pro sprint car ready to go race for serious money. Our national tour paid $5,000 for the champion, last year, and $1,000 for 10th on the points. There's a lot of bonus money. The person's comparable to a sportsman, about $1,000 to win. A lot of places we go here in Canada. So it's been really good. It's a great class that we've been able to build, and we're very proud of it. So it's the crate sprints, and then we started the Action Sprint Tour powered by Pinty's. And Pinty's, of course, is a huge food company here in Canada. That's
I got to jump in. We're right up against it here, Clinton. Lots of information. I'll make sure I get a hold of you. You have yourself a nice New Year, man, and I'll talk to you soon.
Thanks, Doug. Cheers.